How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. After hearing comments about my beard for the last few videos, I've decided to have a shave. I'm not sure if it looks any better. Let me know. I've received confirmation from my lawyer that I'm allowed to upload a video that I made myself recently. It's gone through the full police proceedings. The guy has been arrested now and is awaiting trial, so I'm officially allowed to upload that as soon as possible. I just need to figure out all the weird little legal bits. In the meantime, I've been recommended this video multiple times from people that I actually know. It was only uploaded a couple of days ago and it's already kicking up a bit of a fuss in my community on YouTube. People have been telling me about this and how bad it was. I haven't seen any of the video yet, so as always, I'm going to go through this with you. Anything that I see that I think is detrimental to a legal case, I will point out. Everything morally wrong with this, I'll point out, and hopefully I can shed some light on this situation. I'm revamping my Patreon as well, so if you guys want to help out the channel in any way, it's completely non-profit. All of the additional money I have at the end of the month that's left over goes to charities. It's used for lawyers, decoys and editors so I can make this content. Without Patreon, this just wouldn't be possible. So without any further hesitation, let's get into the video. So it always interests me when people say they don't have the chat logs from an encounter with a child predator or a alleged child predator. Chat logs are the main bit of evidence that the police need to actually arrest these people. Attempting a meet with a alleged minor without the evidence of why that person is meeting this random person would mean nothing. The entire backstory is what makes this illegal, if that makes sense. Otherwise, the person can just argue that they bumped into a random person that they've never spoken to before and they don't know what they're doing or why they're here. And, you know, without the evidence of, you know, them attempting to meet a minor, it means nothing. It's just like you bumping into a random person in Tesco's and accusing them of a crime. Without the evidence, the police just won't do anything with it. So it is a bit bizarre to me to hear that they don't have any evidence of this and they don't have the chat logs. I would like to know why. Potentially they put it all into a hard drive and sent it to the police, but then you should still back up copies. I've forgotten to do this in the past when I first started, so maybe it's a mistake on their behalf. But not having any evidence other than a meeting with an alleged person is isn't a good point to start if you're trying to go the legal way about this.
You think that's okay to do, man? You're talking to a 13-year-old girl. Don't walk away, don't walk away. Dude, you've been talking to a 13-year-old girl. You want to comment a 13-year-old girl. Dude, that's not okay.
I can just about make out that he is saying that you're trying to meet a 13-year-old girl, but the person that's filming has got his finger over the microphone. So it's actually hard to understand what's being said. Hopefully he realizes that as a camera person, your job is to not only film, but capture the audio, and he figures that out soon. Otherwise this might be very frustrating for me and you guys to watch.
Right here. Dude, look at this. Like, let's read some of this.
Okay. Listen.
All right.
Okay, I'm be honest with you.
So can I beside you, yay, to a 13-year-old girl?
No, listen.
No.
Okay, listen. I'm going to some challenging, okay?
That's not an excuse.
No, it's not okay.
I don't want you to play the victim here, okay?
Okay, I'm not playing the victim.
You are the predator here.
Okay, I'm apologizing. Okay?
So he seems to have the chat logs on his phone at this point in time. I don't know why he's lost that. This sort of stuff should definitely be backed up. If he's managing to point this out to the alleged child predator here, surely you would take a screen recording and screenshots or something of the sort as some sort of reference point for the police, or for yourself for later content if that's your aim. I don't know how they've managed to lose all of that, and that's quite shocking. The second thing here as well is they've managed to get him to sort of admit that he was here to meet a 13-year-old. Obviously, without the evidence, it's hard to get an arrest anyway, but the fact that he's here apologizing for meeting this person who is 13, why would you apologize for something that you're not doing? This here shows that he is actually intending to meet a 13-year-old, and it's probably the only bit of evidence that they've got in this, without the chat logs, that they could show the police and see what the police can do with.
What happened again? It just happened because I'm in a depression state right now.
Okay, depression doesn't make you like 13-year-old girls.
I know it's a I know what happens. I'm sorry.
You said you want to have car. You said you would have car sex with her, but it'd be uncomfortable. You said, wait,
Bye
where are we
now.
going to f at?
Sorry.
Then you said, so if a 13-year-old girl is here, would you f her? Are you sure? Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to believe that
Yeah,
from these
it is hard to
chat
believe, but I'm not gonna do anything like that because
So what are you doing here then?
I was shopping. I haven't been here.
You were
in a while.
shopping? You live in Flat Rock. There's so many Myers closer to you than this one.
So saying that he's shopping is clearly false. What are the chances that the person that you were speaking to, who turns out to be the person that was pretending to be the decoy, is shopping at the same shop as you, meeting you in exactly the same place that you're shopping randomly when you don't have a trolley, a basket, or anything of the sort? You're just standing in a place where it seems like you've arranged to meet someone. Saying that you're shopping probably isn't the smartest idea. Again, we don't have the chat logs because they've lost them to prove that he did intend to meet this person here. Maybe it is a coincidence that they bumped into this man that they've recognised from speaking to. But again, without the chat logs, we can't prove that. And that's something that his lawyers could use at a later date, saying, oh, I never organised to meet this person, I was just talking to them, blah, blah, blah. This is why it's so important to keep all of the evidence of these cases safe.
It's an awful word.
How do I know you're going to be here, though?
Because I have money to buy stuff.
But how do I know you're going to be at this Meyer?
What do you mean? How do you
I
know?
came here to look for you. How do I know you're going to be here? You live in a different city. So how do I know you're going to be at this Meyer? And how come these texts say meet at Taylor Meyer, where we're standing right now? Then you also said,
Yeah, I get it.
you said it would be more fun if you had girls your age to do it with too. So what, you want a bunch of 13-year-olds? That's what you said.
It's hard to make out what he said there, but it seems like he said afterwards, what, did you want a bunch of 13-year-olds? So he probably said something along the lines of, maybe it'd be more fun if you bring a friend. This is evidence, if it is done correctly, that would get this person sent away. If these text messages that he is reading out are true, this is a lot of evidence. It's just he doesn't have it anymore, which really jeopardizes the case. A lot of child predator catchers on YouTube don't post the evidence. A lot of them are told not to by police. I've been told not to in a couple of different cases because it has sensitive information like addresses, etc., etc. But not having it at all and saying you've lost it is, I can't get over that. This needs to be kept safe because if what you are saying is true, you've done a reasonably good job and you could get this person arrested and get him sentenced and put on a register. But if you lose the evidence, you can't.
You wanted a 13-year-old girl. You said, what if I come you though?
Listen, can you just hear me out, please?
I'm listening, man. There's not much you can say right now.
I know it's not. I had a bad, listen. So everything that I'm doing positive is going right down the drain.
Yeah, well,
My
this
jobs,
is
everything
more
I
than
did.
right down the drain, man.
I know.
You wanted to come in a 13-year-old girl.
What's up, Drip? Here, switch hats. Hey, here, switch hats, Drip. We called
You
the
said-
cops.
We could call the cops. I don't know why this is something that's always said. I don't get it. It should be, we are calling the cops. This is your chance to, say your piece. This sort of stuff makes these people under duress, as it were. And this is something that the lawyers can argue at a later date. If they are told that the police aren't going to be called and then they give information, that information is given under duress. It may, at a later date, be completely inadmissible in a court hearing because of that. It completely depends on the court you go to, the state you're in, the country you're in even, which lawyers you have, which lawyers the defense has, which jury is on, which judge is doing the case. You don't know and you can't control all of these factors. So what you want to do is try and make it as easy as possible for a unanimous vote across the system so you know full well that he's going to get put away for this. All it takes is one member of the jury to go, oh, he's under duress or something of the sort, feel sorry for him or something like this, and the whole case goes out. You need to make sure you do it properly because then you remove any of these, unforeseen circumstances at a later date.
Switch
You
hats.
said it would be fun if you had more girls your age.
Switch hats, Drip. Now we're styling. Here, you could also hold that book.
See, I never understood this either. I don't understand and I don't like the fact that they try and publicly embarrass these people. What they've done is bad enough. You don't want to make jokes about the situation and take away the severity of what they are doing. Making them read a little kid's book and making them put a hat on, yeah, I understand. It can be entertaining for some viewers. But again, this is a serious topic. I make little jokes after the fact because it's after the fact. But during these cases, I always want to make sure that I'm professional. Being professional gets way more information out of these people than if you're embarrassing them publicly. How likely is he to accidentally slip up and give a bit of information that he wouldn't have otherwise when he's looking like this? Think about it.
Yeah, we went to school together.
Went to the same high school, man.
Yeah. Like, then right after that, you said, "Are you a virgin?" I said, "No." "Are you?" "No." "Twins?" "LOL." Then you said, "So would you f me though?"
So they mentioned here that they went to the same high school together. Again, because the evidence isn't there, because they've lost the evidence, he could say at a later date that he was under duress and he just apologised to stop the situation. Let me give you just a little understanding of what his lawyer could say in court here. My client was under duress during this. He thought apologising falsely under these circumstances would mitigate further repercussions for actions that he did not cause. He believed that if he apologised, they would be nice and they would leave him alone. He did not do anything, and this is a witch hunt from somebody that he went to school with. They don't have any evidence of any crime being committed, other than the fact that he apologised to a crime that he did not commit and which has no evidence of. Something on the lines of that. He can get away with this because they've lost the evidence. And all it takes is a good enough lawyer who speaks way better than I do and who's been trained at this job to persuade a jury that this is a witch hunt against, maybe they could even put the race card in there. They could say it's a black man that these people didn't like in school. It depends. You got to think about all these different situations that can arise later. Making sure it's done professionally, making sure that you have the evidence. These are important things to make sure that at a later date, a lawyer defending this person can't defend him. And all they are trying to do is lessen his sentence.
And then you said,
So
"Is that a yes or no?"
happen now?
Well, I mean, we can call the police if you'd like. I live in Taylor, so, we can call the Taylor PD if you want. You want to call Taylor PD? Should we call someone else? Who do you want to call? You want to call the police? You want to call your mom?
This shouldn't be up to the person that's being allegedly committing these crimes. Imagine if you catch somebody in the middle of one of these situations, a real life situation, you come home and it's your 12-year-old cousin and there's a grown man there with her. Would you really say to that man, "What do you want to happen? Do you want the police to come? Or, should I call someone else for you?" Obviously they're not going to want the police to come. Why give them the option to say no? Just call the fucking police. I don't get it. You should say the police are on their way. You should say that I'm recording this for mine and your protection, so if you get hurt or I get hurt, we've got proof of that. Like, these are things that just should be said. They should be things that you don't rehearse, but just think about during this. Because it seems like if you have the evidence and these messages are correct, again, without looking at the evidence and seeing if there's any moral entrapment or any of this sort of box, you've done a good job here. Meeting this person, filming him, being relatively civil, and then handing him to the police if that was done correctly. This is a great job. But the fact that there's no evidence, you're given the option to not have the police there, you haven't removed him out of a public situation which may cause harm at a later time, and all of these things just ruin these cases. I don't have anything against child predator catching groups that do this. I just don't think they understand the full length of it, and that's not saying they're naive, I just don't think they've looked into it enough.
Don't you think the police should know about you? Because you're kind of a danger to their people.
Okay, I don't do this.
You
can't even figure out schools.
Yeah, just today.
Just today?
Just today?
So how many, you don't usually do this, how many times have you done it?
If I'm working hard, I don't think about that.
Right, okay, but you said don't usually do this, so it doesn't mean you don't never do it.
No.
You said usually,
Okay,
so how many
listen.
times have you met underage girls?
I haven't met any.
Okay, you
I
said don't
usually
usually.
meet adults.
Usually? You keep saying usually.
See, stuff like this, he's doing a great job here. He's picked up on him using the word usually, which I would normally pick up in my videos and point out. Saying usually does imply that he's done it before, which means that the police should definitely know about it. It shouldn't be, don't you think the police should know? The police are definitely gonna know, because you usually don't do this. He is a danger to society. If he is there to meet a 13-year-old, which he's admitted to now, if he did say all those things on text message, this is a done case. Just send it to the police.
Okay, I'm not thinking before I speak. I don't meet underage people.
You're also not thinking before you do, because you showed up to me a 13-year-old girl and had sex with her.
Do you know who else doesn't think before they do? People that browse the internet while not using Surfshark. Surfshark is a VPN service, which stands for Virtual Private Network. What this does is basically move your IP address, which is sort of like your online identity and location, to anywhere in the world that you choose. This prevents hackers or people that are attempting to groom underage people online, figuring out roughly where these people live. I use a VPN service every single time I conduct one of these operations and just when browsing the internet in general. It puts up an extra barrier of security and safety around everything that you do. It also has countless other benefits, including being able to watch Netflix in other countries. I was recently abroad and I couldn't watch the football at home, so do you know what I did? I changed my VPN to the UK and watched the football back in England when it wouldn't let me when I was abroad. If you didn't know as well, Netflix and Amazon Prime have different shows depending on where you are in the world. If you really like anime, change your VPN service to Japan where there's better anime shows. If you like more American style TV, change it to America and vice versa. There's countless benefits. If you guys want to check them out, the link is in the description down below, and you can use the code FOX for 83% off and 3 months for free. So yeah, you're paying 17% of the normal price and also getting 3 months for free. So make sure you check them out in the link below. Let's get back with the video.
Did you not? Is that not what you're here for? What are you here for? You're hearing me, a 13-year-old girl that has sex, right?
Yeah, but I'm trying to.
Okay, at least you admit that, right?
Be around with.
But being around a 13-year-old girl and having sex with her is not something you should be doing. And then you said, is it just like you like older guys or at your school? Or do you have friends that are like you in your age? And then you asked if I had sisters. And then I said, nope, only child. I said, it would be fun if you had more girls your age. So what does that mean? I don't get what that means. Does it mean you want to have sex with more 13-year-olds or what? What are you saying by that?
No.
It's pretty obvious what he's implying if this text message seems to be true, and I don't have anything that shows me from the reaction of this guy that says that it's not true. Once again, if they had this evidence and they could provide it to the police, this person would be locked up like that.
What do you mean by that then? Please explain. What are you doing by that? You want to talk?
I think you should just call the cops. He's not gonna talk. I'm not gonna waste my time.
But you're recording though, and I'm not.
Yeah.
So you see how he's being quiet, and then as soon as they say, I think we should call the cops, he says, no, please don't. Everything that's said from this point onwards, in this conversation thread, like has happened before, could be inadmissible in court, as I said, because he's under duress at this point. He's not thinking clearly. This is completely inadmissible with certain judges, certain juries, and certain lawyers. This is why it's important to establish what you are doing from the start. The police are on their way, I'm going to call the police, something like this. Because then everything that's said afterwards can be taken for its word. For every single judge and jury.
Recording. You came to meet
Yeah,
up
that
with
way
a
you
kid.
can't say we did anything to you because we
Came
don't know
to
what
meet
else
up
to
with a
do.
kid.
I never thought you were like
Came to
this.
meet
man.
up with a 13-year-old kid.
You are, you're here, man. I never thought you were like this. If I seen your profile and hit me up, I'm like, there's no way.
Came to meet with a 13-year-old
A
kid.
13-year-old girl, man. I did
A
not think you were
13-year-old
like
girl.
this.
Okay, what do you want? Because I don't really want.
We don't want nothing. We want to know why you think it's okay.
It wasn't okay.
Then why are you here if it's not okay?
I don't know.
You don't know why you're here? I know why
I'm
you're here.
I know why I'm here.
Okay, why are you here? I want you to say why you're here.
To meet a girl.
Well, girl, how old is she?
13.
And what were you going to do with this 13-year-old?
It ain't much to do because I ain't
You
trying to
said,
call.
no. How, what
I
were you
know.
going to do?
I know what you said.
Okay,
on
so
the
what did
text.
you say? What did you say in the text?
That was nice, but I wasn't gonna do that.
Hey, you're
Right, so just here he's admitted that he's coming to meet a 13-year-old, and in the chats he did say that he was going to have sex with them. This might be enough in a court to get him sentenced. But as I've said before, people admit to crimes that they don't do all the time. It's actually quite a common thing, weirdly. The amount of serial killer documentaries that you watch where somebody is in prison because they admitted to the crimes that they didn't do is insane. So you need the evidence as well as the admission to secure victory here, as it were.
gonna
Then why'd you
smash.
show up?
Ooh.
It's 9:46 on a weekday. Why are you here then? 3 cities away from where you live. Right? About 3 cities away? How many cities did you travel through? And how many Myers did you pass? Because you live by 1, don't you? You live by 2, don't you? And you came to meet a 13-year-old girl. So you got anything you want to say?
I apologize for texting on the way.
Okay,
What?
no.
I can't hear him. I can't hear him.
Apologize.
What?
Yeah.
I apologize for being underage girls. It's unacceptable.
Are you sorry for being caught, or are you sorry because it's sick-minded in the
I'm
fucking
sorry
head?
because it's wrong.
Because
I should've known
there's
better.
people that are older and they meet up with underage girls, underage boys, And then they do stuff like you talked about. Even texting them like that is
but
wrong.
that's what I thought about when you said something.
You got to remember in these situations as well, he might be messaging other real people. That's why it's important to go to the police for this. The police have the ability to detain people for 24 to 48 hours, depending on the states. And in that time, they're allowed to seize your belongings, download your phone, see what you've got, what you're hiding, what you've installed. If you're messaging other child predators, if you're a part of a pedophile ring, all these sort of things. When you let somebody go home without them being able to, take this evidence away from someone, they may lose evidence in a later court hearing. They may leave these child predator group chats. They may stop speaking to these real people and block them. They may delete evidence and hard drives they've got at home. All this sort of stuff that you've got to think about. He's admitted here to doing it, so let's take him at his word. We now need to make sure that everything is documented and handed to the police for the reasons that I just said.
That's what I clicked. It's like you probably.
Oh, so you just thought it was a trap. You didn't think about like how the damage you could have on them.
No.
You didn't say nothing about damages or just talking or nothing. Most people tell me that they just want to talk when they get here.
And
You didn't
also,
even say
you're,
that.
you're local. You know he does. You know how this goes. So
You
I-
said just getting gas. You didn't say nothing about just talking. Most of them, when they show up, they'll text me, "Oh, I just want to talk." You didn't even do that. You just were like, "Oh, show me where you're at. I'm about to leave." And then I seen you walking in, man. So you were definitely coming here with the intentions of having sex with a 13-year-old.
Correct.
You didn't even mention nothing else. You know the damage that they can cause? Because there's people that's life has been ruined by people.
People
that
take
are
their own
older.
lives because of this.
And they take advantage of them. They show up and they meet these minors and they just ruin their lives.
Fully agree. Prison is necessary.
Underage
You're a grown
people,
man,
which is wrong
you know?
in general. Do you think you should talk to them? Or you think if you want to, even though it's wrong to even text them, don't you think you should want for a more friendlier PG approach? Like, hey, how you doing? Asking her about school and just as a friend, not about a partner.
Oh, bad.
13's low, dude.
13's
13's low.
Yeah,
How? And what's your age?
he's almost 21.
21.
Almost 21.
Almost 21.
Yeah. You'll be 21 this year, right? Yep. That's 8 years almost. It's 7 years, roughly, right? About there? When you were in high school, were you going after 13-year-olds? When you were a senior? So now that you've graduated?
You're one of them freshman boys, huh? Seniors that go after freshmen, or what?
That's about one of those ages. What's up, man?
Bro, I'm in the video too.
Yeah, he's here to meet a 13-year-old girl.
Huh?
He's here to meet a 13-year-old girl.
Here for a 13-year girl.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you, man?
You can look us up on YouTube. We're American Predators, and this is what we do. This is our 11th catch. But yeah, we're not here to hurt you, man. We're just here to talk to you and let people know what you're here to do.
So at this point, they've put this man in what is a dangerous situation. Somebody has recognized the child predator catchers. They have just said this person's a child predator. They placed him in a dangerous situation. This isn't good. This is why I've always said in catches that I do, I move people to the side. Public, but to the side. If people get involved, I tell them to leave. This isn't something that you want more people involved in. Just the police.
Now, if other people are
Bro, what the f is wrong with you, bro? Man, I got kids out here. I got this nephew out here,
I
bro.
got kids too.
You on that page doing that
I haven't started yet. It's just the fact that I have a mental thing that's going on with me.
Depression, right?
No, it's not that.
It doesn't make
Mental
people-
stuff that's
Mental
going on.
stuff. Okay, mental stuff doesn't make you like children.
Bro, you know I want to beat your ass right now for that shit, bro. You hear me? You f with a 14-year-old girl, 13-year-old girl, bro. I got kids out here, man. I will knock your ass out for that shit, bro. Are you stupid?
This is all happening because the child predator catching group here has announced loudly in a public place that this person is doing something. They've publicly embarrassed him. This has caught people's attention. We saw this man walk past earlier on in the video, I think, as well, because they randomly blurred someone's face. I assume it's the same man, which means that he overheard the conversation beforehand because they were being loud and in public. If anything happens to this person, these people may be held liable to some extent for placing him in a dangerous situation.
You got set up, right? What they call police on your dumb ass right now? Get your ass locked up. That's called sex offender, my dude.
Luring a minor. Yeah, I mean, if it goes
That's bad,
on.
man.
Bro, You got set up for some dumbass shit, right? Nobody wanna punch your ass out right now for that shit right now, bro? If I run like your ass out, what you would've did? You with a 13-year-old girl, my a 13-year-old girl? They set your dumb ass up. I would've you out right now, bro.
Okay, there's kids in the area.
What's up?
There's kids in the area. Did you watch the video?
Yeah, we should watch him because he's here to meet a kid.
He's here to meet a kid, so we're here to protect the kids. Save the kids, man.
Do you think this is okay at all?
Bro, I should knock your ass out right now, bro.
Okay, so listen now, bro. I'm gonna call police.
All right, that's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Because I'm not, this is like,
You do need help.
So at this point, this guy's clearly scared, and rightfully so. There's 6 foot something guy shouting in his face that he's going to knock him out. This is actually a call to threat. This is, well, inciting violence. There's many crimes that you can get arrested for just by threatening people like this. And now he wants the police there to protect him. He feels unsafe. Again, this is something else that might ruin the case at a later date. He's been placed in an unsafe situation where people have, you know, shouted at the rooftops that he's doing something wrong. They've ruined his reputation before a court hearing is done. This could be seen as defamation because, again, court hearings have to go through before you say unequivocally that somebody is doing a crime, if that makes sense.
Like, really? Oh, hey, don't do that.
So this man's going to get arrested 110% for assault. This is unprovoked assault. Yes, I understand where people can see the provocation here because this person is trying to meet a 13-year-old, but he didn't do anything to the man that just assaulted him. That's prison time. That's straight up assault. I think, depending on states in America, that can even be up to a few years. The people conducting this operation who didn't remove him from the situation, didn't try and protect him, and, you know, actually endangered his well-being and quite clearly actually endangered him, they may be liable for sort of accessory to assault here, which I'm not sure, again, depending on the states, it can be a prison sentence, it can be a massive fine, and it can be, you know, on your criminal record. This is appalling. You want the first thing that you do to be arrests. You want the first thing you do to make sure somebody is sentenced. From this video, I'm very 50-50, which means going into a court and a jury, he could get away with all of this because of how they've acted here.
It is, man, but that we can't do all that.
So you see the guy here runs away. Most people probably would, which means he's going to go home and the police won't be there to arrest him, which means he can go home and delete all the evidence of other stuff. And that might be why they don't have the chat logs. Maybe it was on an end-to-end encrypted website where you can delete for both parties, like Telegram. Like, they f***ed it, basically. Because they didn't move him from a situation where he was put in danger.
Like, really?
Oh! You can see there how professional the wasted sign is. Nothing says professionalism like a GTA wasted symbol. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think that they did this in a good way? Do you think that he got what he deserved, maybe? Or do you think that, you know, a punch in the face is less of a punishment than a few years in prison? Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video if you're new. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Drop a like on the video as always, and yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace.